Welcome into the show, everyone. Tonight, it's just me out here for the official, but we have a very special guest for you as we continue to kind of push the envelope as a show, try to peek behind the curtain of the recruiting world, both under metrics evaluation, film evaluation, and interviews with the people that are actually living that whole world. So we've talked with many players, especially some QBs over the last few weeks. But now we bring Coach Jonathan DiBiaso joins us. He's an assistant coach with quarterbacks for Pitt and their new look offensive staff this year. They brought in Frank Cignetti, who previously was the OC at Boston College. Before that, he had some NFL stops in Green Bay and New York, and DiBiaso joins him as an assistant QB coach in his first year with the Panthers. Looking to build on their recent kind of historical success last year. This is The Official. Coach, welcome into the show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
No doubt. Thanks for having me, Alfred. Just happy to be here, man.
Before we get started, for everyone, just remember to like and subscribe the video if you like what you're seeing here. Don't forget to visit campus2canton.com, our parent website, for all your rankings, your ADP for your college side fantasy drafts that are going on right now, and of course, all the articles and everything that we put out over there. But now tonight, we're going to get to talk to someone who's living recruiting. We live it, but he's actually like making the decisions for a Power 5 team. Coach DiBiaso, thanks for coming in here. Can you tell us a little bit about how you arrived at Pitt heading into the 2022 season?
No doubt. This thing's all about relationships. And just going back 2 years ago, I had the privilege to be at Boston College first with Coach DiBiaso for 2 years, and then Coach Alfred for the last one. And that last year that I was at Boston College, I got the privilege to work with Coach Cignetti, working with the quarterbacks. I took a year, went to Vanderbilt, lived in Nashville, and coached in the SEC. And then this past January, I got a phone call from Coach Cignetti that he was taking the offensive coordinator job at Pittsburgh, where he's from, and he wanted me to come and be a part of it. And I hopped on in a heartbeat. I knew the success that they had in the past, the history in the program, and the city of Pittsburgh I've been before, and it's an amazing place. So when I had the opportunity to work at the University of Pittsburgh, it was something I couldn't turn down. To be back with Coach Sig and working with Coach Narduzzi and being a part of this thing.
Yeah, that's great. Pitt really, for our purposes, at the heart of it, this is a fantasy football show. And so we loved Pitt last year. I mean, all the people playing fantasy college football, obviously Cody Pickett had a 4,000-yard season, and 42 touchdowns, which I actually was looking back. Pitt hadn't really had a 3,000-yard passer since Tino Sunseri back in 2012. And I got as far back as Dan Marino without finding a 4,000-yard passer. So I think it's safe to say Pickett might have been the first one in Pitt history. So awesome year last year. Big shoes to fill. What is you and the new staff doing to keep that momentum on the offensive side heading into next year?
We're doing our best. First and foremost, Kenny Pickett's a baller. I mean, we get to see him every single day work with the Steelers, and we watch our cut-ups, so I get to see all the great things he did last year in Coach Whipple's offense under Coach Narduzzi and their sort of trip to an ACC championship. But right now, new offense, new offensive coordinator, new receiver coach. Coach Narduzzi brought in Tyquan Underwood from Rutgers, who's a superstar as a young receiver coach. And in this recruiting business, he's as good as I've been around. So building this thing has been fun. Bringing in a quarterback, Keaton Slovis, having an experienced guy, Nick Patty, in that room as well, who they're competing with right now. And just building this thing from square one has been a journey. And all of us got here in January, and now we're in June, going into July soon. And it's been a journey, whether it was the run game to the terminology that we'd use in the formation system and protections and the run game. It's taken a lot of time, but it's been well thought, and it's player driven, and we've all been a part of it, building it. So it's been a blast, and there's high expectations going into this year, but it's nothing that our players aren't prepared to exceed.
Yeah, well, I always think of Pittsburgh. We all know, Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks NFL history. So exciting to see what you guys can do this year. You brought in Slovis from out west, USC. He had awesome success again early in his career. Freshman season, he was incredible. Then had 2 other years. Obviously, we know the turmoil at USC, and now he is Pittsburgh Panther. Kanata Mumfield from Akron, who was an awesome, freshman producer right there, and now he's over there. And then Bub Means from La Tech, former SEC recruit, you brought him in. So tell me about these new additions to the offense. I mean, you're coming in, you're new, Sig's new from Boston College, which actually I really have enjoyed watching that offense for the past couple of years. It's really a good, fun offense I like under Signetti. So now he's there. You got a lot of new people. How's it all meshing together? What do you see from the new players? Who are you excited about?
All those guys. We brought in a handful of transfers this offseason. And when you have success at this level, like Pitt did last year, it becomes an attractive destination for a lot of these guys going in the portal for fresh starts or want to play better football. And I think Coach Narduzzi has built such a good culture in the program where these guys work that it's been an easy transition for me, for our players, because these guys know how to work. The guys that were already in this program, hey, they come in every single day, whether it's working out, routes on air, Skelly, all player run stuff. And they set the expectation pretty high for Keaton coming in. Nick Patty has done a great job with him, just leading this thing, that they work on their own. So it's been a pretty easy transition for all of us. And we're excited about all those, 3 of those guys. Keaton, Kanate, Bubs are all guys that have been working all offseason. Bubs came a little bit later to us, so he wasn't able to take part in spring ball. But they're exciting players that are going to add to an already dynamic offense that is bringing back 5 offensive linemen from last year, bringing back a first-team All-ACC freshman tight end in Gavin Bartholomew.
Can you tell us a little bit about the different skill sets that each receiver brings? I think we all watched Mumfield last year tear it up in the MAC for Akron as a true freshman. I think originally from Georgia, which is just a great place to get these, kind of lower rated guys. Georgia, Florida, Texas, or you just go take 3 stars out of there and who knows, you'll find a gem. So, kind of what they do best, what you're excited about, what their particular highlights are from a skill set standpoint.
No doubt. And Coach Underwood has been doing a great job developing these guys in spring ball, getting them to buy into a new system, getting them to really learn a new system and how we're going to teach route running and topper routes and our terminology that we're going to use. But first thing, a lot of depth in that room. I mean, we got 5 guys that can go, and we got other young guys pushing them. I think when you look at really Bub Means, Jared Wayne, who's played a lot of football in the ACC and been very productive in the ACC, as well as Jaden Bradley, we got 3 receivers that are big physical dudes, probably 6'2 plus, that can go. I mean, they all look the part. They all can run. They all have really good ball skills. And then you look at Kanate Mumfield and Jalen Barton that both have their little niches. Kanate is really, really good route runner. I mean, he's smooth. He can change direction. Really good ball skills. Good with the ball in his hands after his catch. And then you got Jalen Barton, a guy who can run. A guy that can blow the top off on any given day. Can hit you with a post or go route and take it 80 yards. So we got a unique group of guys in our room.
Let's switch gears a bit to recruiting. This show kind of wants to talk about recruiting. We talk about the players. We've interviewed some players to see what their life is like on the recruiting trail. And you obviously are taking part in the actual practice of recruiting, the whole system and finding players. it's kind of my assumption, and I feel like it's plays out this way in a lot of cases. Like a recruiting class kind of starts with a QB. You get that guy in, you build around him. He can recruit for you, all that kind of stuff. So you're a QB specialist, assistant coach for the QBs. Would you agree with that?
Everything starts with the QB. And that's what we talk about as a coaching staff, whether it's offense and defense. We're only going to go as far as we go with a good quarterback play. So every single class is important for us to hit on the QB and hopefully as early as possible, because that's going to be the guy that rallies the guys and recruits other people in the class. They're going to be the face of the recruiting class, whether it's on social media or when they're on campus on official visits. So every single class, we sort of, hey, get on them early, find the right guy for us that feels mutual.
So yeah, guy 2 to 3 years away from college. What are you looking at in terms of quality? I mean, these are like sophomores, maybe with only freshman tape, rising sophomores. What do you do? I mean, it's there's a lot of growth physically, mentally as well. So what kind of stuff are you looking for to say, hey, I think this is the type that can grow into who's going to actually contribute, as a Pitt Panther?
We look for traits here. And Coach Signetti and I sort of have a checklist of different traits that we look for in quarterbacks. First and foremost, you got to look for a guy who's a natural thrower. And that's something that you can really detect or see within a guy throwing 4 or 5 times, whether he's a middle schooler or a freshman in high school or a senior in high school. If he's a natural passer with a smooth stroke, with a live lower body, that's not meaning, hey, he runs a 4.5. Just, hey, he's got good feet. He's athletic enough to extend plays in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, complete the football. You can tell that at a young age. And now there is projection, a part of that. So, hey, we look, is he young? Is he old in the class? What's his shoe size? What's his hand size? Does he play other sports? We love multi-sport athletes because that means they're competitive. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we sort of have a really thorough evaluation process. And I like to think we do a good job finding guys early, talking to their high school coaches, talking to their QB coaches, seeing them, sort of their workout tape, their Twitter tape, their highlights, some game film. We're thorough with our stuff. We check transcripts. Like, we want a guy that's going to exceed in all areas. So it's tough to find good ones early, but we do our best.
Yeah. I mean, like you said in the very beginning, right? This is all about relationships. So starting that relationship as early as the guy comes on your radar, 5 years in advance, if you can, I guess, huh?
That's our approach with a lot of this. Recruiting is all relationships. You got to have a good relationship with the recruit, his parents, his high school coach, and you don't know how many times you'll get a kid on campus. So if a kid comes to our camp and he's in 8th grade, we're going to treat him just as well as we treat the junior that we want to offer, because you never know how many times you're going to get a kid on campus. And if he has a great experience when he's in an 8th grade and no schools know about him, who knows if he blows up in his junior year, he's a national recruit, and he's like, hey, when I was 13 years old, like, you gave me great coaching points, you worked with me at camp, you showed me a great time. Like, that goes a long way, not only with the kid, but his parents and the high school coach appreciates it, because this thing is all about relationships. And we pride ourselves on, hey, really how good a job we do at camp, teaching and training and giving kids tips to work on back at home.
About these camps, I guess, to the untrained eye or someone who doesn't maybe follow down to the granular level of like what kid is going to what camp, but it sounds like that's kind of the first point of contact. I mean, that's sometimes, how do you get kids coming into camp? I mean, are you inviting them? Is it whoever signs up? Do they have to send in a tape, or is it come one, come all?
At Pitt, it's come all. And with the success of Kenny Pickett, the success of Pitt being ACC champs last year, we've become an attractive spot for all young quarterbacks. And then next it comes to relationships. There's plenty of quarterback trainers that we respect throughout the country that every single year we'll hit up, hey, who are your guys this year? Like, we'd love to get them up here. Let's get them on campus. And once you get a kid on campus, it's our job to do a good job with them, because we got to leave a good first impression on him, his family, and just do a good job with it. Coach Narduzzi says every single time he sees a tweet on Twitter, hey, I had a great experience at camp and learned so much, then we're doing our job, because those parents are paying money for their kids to come to camp. And yes, it's an evaluation process, but also it's a teaching process for us, because we sold ourselves on, hey, we're going to train the quarterback better than any place in the country. And we believe that. So when we have an opportunity to really show our ability to coach and show those parents, hey, this is how your son's going to be coached on campus here at Pitt, and this is how we train our quarterbacks, we pride ourselves and we love camp.
So this is an interesting debate among our community when we're trying to decide who's going to end up signing where. A lot of the times when we're trying to read the tea leaves, we're like, oh, he won't want to go here. They already have whatever, 2, 3, good players in that room, whether it's quarterback. I mean, quarterback's a little different because only one gets on the field, but running back, wide receiver. We think guys maybe look at that and go, I want to go somewhere else so I can play right away. But then you have examples such as Ohio State, obviously Alabama, the top end of these schools where like kids will just line up 5, 6, 5 stars deep and say, I'm just going to play. So in your experience, is depth chart a factor, or these kids don't really care because they all think they're, good enough to crack it?
I think it all depends about the kid. And here at Pitt now, we have a really unique situation where we have 2 graduate student quarterbacks, a sophomore quarterback. So it's super attractive for guys we're recruiting now, and we use that as a selling point.
Sure.
But when you look at a kid and he's, hey, you took a quarterback a year older than me, you got a quarterback 2 years older than me, I don't know if I want to go there. Sort of red flag goes off in my head. Okay, does this kid really want to compete? Because every quarterback that we recruit, we want to really believe that he believes that he's the best quarterback in this class, that he's going to come in and play early and contribute early. And if a guy is doubting his ability, he's probably not the guy for us. So I do think it weighs in for a lot of quarterbacks. And, hey, when you can walk into a room where you're the guy, it's great. It's a great opportunity. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have to earn it. But if you have a guy that's wavering, hey, you took a really good quarterback a year older than me, I don't really know if I want to compete, then he might be the guy for someplace else. But here at Pitt, we want ballers that want to compete, that want to win, and think they're the best.
That's a great answer. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Good point from the coaching perspective. Like, you can sell the depth chart when it's appealing, but otherwise, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, you want guys who are coming in like ready to roll, don't want anything handed to them. So that makes perfect sense, especially from the coaching standpoint. I mean, we're all just sitting here trying to be armchair recruiting experts. We have no idea what's happening. Is anything you can tell us about expectations? Obviously, they're very high. You said coming off a ring championship season in the ACC. What's the vibe? I mean, you guys are heading in, like you said. I mean, it's almost July. You're going to start summer camp.
Expectations, I want to say, are always the same. I've only been here really 4 or 5 months now, but the culture that Coach Narduzzi has built, I cannot say it enough, sells itself. I mean, these guys work. Guys come do football, come do more football, go to class, and then come back at night and do more football. Whether that's on the field by themselves, studying film, throwing extra, working rhythm and timing, quarterbacks and receivers. So expectations are high. We bring back a lot of talent on defense that is one of the best defenses in college football already. And we bring back a lot of talent on offense and a lot of experience on offense. And we've been able to add a couple guys that are hungry to prove themselves at the ACC level. So we'll see. We open up with West Virginia, Tennessee. So we got a difficult schedule, and we got to earn it every single week.
Yeah, that is not easing into the 2022 season at all, is it?
Interesting storyline with the backyard brawl being the first time they played in like 10 years now.
Oh, that's
That'll
right.
be a
That's right.
solid,
It is at least a former rivalry. That was a pretty big deal.
huge backyard brawl.
Yes. Okay. Backyard brawl back in season. I like it. Yeah, Narduzzi, can you talk? And we'll let you go after. But this idea of culture, I think we know you've mentioned it a few times now, and I think as fans and people that follow the game on the outside, like we can kind of envision what that's like. But it's got to be a tough thing, easy thing to talk about, tough thing to actually implement, get everybody to buy in, kind of going the same direction. What's your experience with how it is to build a culture? Is it one of those things that's just like every day do the same thing and it just adds up over time? Or
So I wasn't a part of when Coach Narduzzi just got here. I believe he's going into year 8 now. But it all starts with the older kids, in my opinion. At least I can speak a part of the quarterback room. We got 2 older guys in Keaton Slovis and Nick Patty, and they're bringing those younger guys around. It speaks to our defense, our receiver room, our O-line. We're bringing back really 5 offensive linemen who opted to come back for their 5th and 6th years. So I think Pitt has a really unique setup and niche where every single day we see the Pittsburgh Steelers work out in practice because we share a facility with them. So every single day you're sort of reminded as a player, when I look out there and I see Kenny Pickett throwing or Watt working out, like that's the ultimate goal. Like I want to hear my name called on draft day. I want to play on Sundays. So I got to work and I got to earn it every single day. So we got a really physical, aggressive football team. So
yeah, I mean the defense last year was just, I think it was good. It's been good really since he got there. It's kind of their calling card for a little bit. And last year you add in the explosive offense, and I mean obviously that's why you had such great success, won the ACC, etc. So here at C2C, we love the folks that'll give us some of their time. We are officially, I will say, rooting for the Pitt Panthers this year. We certainly take down the Vols. My alma mater is the Gators, so anytime you guys can take down the Vols, that will be great. Hopefully you'll take care of business there. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Really great to get a peek on what happens behind the scenes a little bit. It's still a mystery to a lot of us. So that was really special to hear from you. And yeah, go Panthers. What is it, H2P? Hail to Pitt.
And thank you for having me, H2P. And hopefully not the first or the last time that I'm on here.
Absolutely. We'll bring you back, man. And hopefully we'll be celebrating another ring.
No doubt. That's the goal, man. So thank you.
All right, everybody. For Coach John DiBiaso, I'm Alfred. This has been The Official.